So welcome to #Wednesdays Weeklies, a weekly information session in collaboration with the voluntary sector and public sector partners. Today's session is on Public Spaces Protection Order, and our hosts are Helen and Chris. Over to you guys.
Good morning and thank you. Thank you for inviting us today. I'll introduce myself firstly if I can. So I'm Chris Iton, Safer Communities Manager within the Community Safety Team at Rochdale Council. I'll pass you on to Helen. Helen, over to you please.
Hi, I'm Helen Walton. I'm a Policy Officer for Rochdale Council, and I've been working with Chris on the Public Space Protection Order.
Thank you, Helen. So it's proposed I'll lead discussions in terms of the presentation that we've got today. As mentioned, Helen mentioned just then, the presentations on the proposed Public Space Protection Order 2021. That's the title of the proposal. So if I can, I'm going to share my screen. Is that okay? I'll start the presentation. Just bear with me. Let me know when that comes visible to you. Is that okay? Yep, see that? Brilliant, fantastic. Okay, as I mentioned before, the title of the presentation is Proposed Public Space Protection Order 2021. Let's move on there, sorry, just bear with me. So what is it really, the Public Space Protection Order? So the ASB, the Antisocial Behaviour Crime and Policing Act 2014 introduced a number of tools and powers for use by councils and partners to address ASB in their respective local areas. Public Space Protection Orders, quite commonly referred to as PSPOs, are one of the tools available. The Act gives councils the authority to draft and implement PSPOs in response to particular issues affecting their communities, provided certain criteria and legal tests are met, which will include public consultation, for example. Just moving on, the background. So following a consultation on the 23rd of July 2018, Rochdale Borough Council introduced the Rochdale Town Centre Public Spaces Protection Order 2018. The order remains in force for 3 years, subject to any variation or extension of the order, which brings us up towards the end of that period, that 3-year period. And that's where we are now looking at a proposal to extend and vary that, which we'll go into some further details shortly. The current public space protection restrictions. So these are the ones that are currently in place within the town centre, within the restricted area, which will be a map I'm going to show you in a moment. The restrictions are control of commercial or charity collection or soliciting for money in the street, consumption of alcohol on the street, driving or using a car in an antisocial manner, obstructing the highway or loitering, antisocial parking, use of skateboards, bicycles and scooters, and also begging. So they're the current restrictions. There are a legal term attached to each one of them. More information regarding the legal terms sat behind them can be found in the additional papers which we can share through our website. So I'll give you some more information on that shortly. This is a map of the current public space protection area. So this is the restricted area, as you can see. And just by references, we've picked out a few key areas, such as down here, Central Retail Park, near the train station, up here, all the way through to Rochdale Leisure Centre, and back up to the retail park just beyond St Mary's Gate. Covers around the back of Manchester Road, so that's the A58, and also takes into account Dane Street Retail Park as well around there, which will be the Asters, etc. around that area. Coming back down to Drake Street. So it gives you kind of an idea of the size of that. We do have a thorough, detailed digital map if that is required by anybody to review in greater detail. In terms of the Public Space Protection Order enforcement, so the PSPOs are designed to ensure the law-abiding majority of residents can use and enjoy public spaces safe from antisocial behaviour. PSPOs can be enforced by authorised officers designated by the council. If someone breaches a PSPO, they can receive the following penalties: a £100 fine on the spot, known as a fixed penalty notice, also known as an FPN, a fine of up to £1,000 if the charge goes to court, so there's a refusal to make a payment for that FPN. That said, there is other steps prior to the enforcement, which I just wanted to capture here, because we very much have a, an educate, engage and enforce approach. So we will be looking to increase the awareness of the public space protection restricted criteria for that. What's the consequences of breaching and what support is put in place? So there'll be support officers, or there are support officers in place who actually encourage and communicate the PSPO rules and how we support that and enforce. So again, there is steps in place before we get to the enforcement. However, it can lead to an FPM being issued and ultimately a large fine if it goes to court. Our approach to the town centre enforcement also includes the support around some of the complex issues within the town centre. We have a town centre operational group, which I just wanted to include within today's presentation, which is at the centre of all these different kind of organisations. So this is a multi-agency meeting that occurs, which is chaired by one of my colleagues within community safety. We have representation from numerous support services such as Petras, Turning Point, Stepping Stones, various health services, access to the DWP, Sanctuary Trusts are actively involved. Place teams, again, massively involved in them. We have numerous homelessness services as well linked into that, along with our town centre wardens, the police officers and the PCSOs within the town centre. So we've got a very much a multi-agency approach to reducing crime and antisocial behaviour within the town centre. And part of that group allows us to look at some of more kind of complex individuals, those who need that intensive support. We look to identify them and make sure we've got the appropriate referrals in place and the access to that support as well. Just to move on from that one, it was just to mention the town centre outreach worker, which is a post that Community Safety commissioned through the Rochdale Safer Communities Partnership funding. We commission out on community safety. They sit and work within our team with our town centre enforcement. They help offer support, but they sit within the homelessness model as well, which is a Rochdale rough sleeper and a bed every night partnership model. So again, it's just to kind of capture how they sit in with the wider support available to individuals within the town centre. Again, goes through the various models here, which is the supply, the Stepping Stones projects, access Sanctuary Trust, the Stepping Stones projects here as well, the support that's available to them, and then move on, such as temporary accommodation, support accommodation, own tenancies, housing first programme as well. So it's just to give you an idea how some of our colleagues fit within the wider partnership approach within the town centre. So we do propose to look at extending and varying the current public space protection order. So we've titled it the Proposed Public Space Protection Order 2021 Rochdale Town Centre. As I say, we're looking to vary and extend it. I've put this link on a couple of times now for the presentation, which I'll go to shortly, but it's a link to our website on the council. We've got a lot of information about what the current PSPO is, the restrictions, what support is available, why we're looking to extend and vary the current PSPO, and it'll give you more information and access to the survey so you can put across your views, your opinions and feedback on our proposal for this variation extension. The proposed restrictions, similar to what we've already gone through. So I've just kind of put a couple of extra comments on here. So again, control of commercial or charity collection or soliciting for money in the streets. There's a slight variation to that. Again, this is covered with the greater detail in the cabinet report, which is available on our website and our survey on the link there as well. The variation is to do with the tweaking of the wording to that restriction. Consumption of alcohol on the street, again, a variation around the wording to the current restriction. Again, more information can be found on that on our website. Driving or using a car in an antisocial manner remains the same. Obstructing the highway or loitering, there's a variation with that. Again, it's the terminology, the wording in terms of the restriction. Use of skateboards, bicycles and scooters. Begging, a variation again on there. We can go through that in greater detail. And it's proposed that the removal of the antisocial parking, which is part of this variation, will be covered under obstructing the highway as well. So again, some changes. It's proposed the extension will be until the 23rd of July 2024. The restricted area remains exactly the same. So moving on to that map. So it's exactly the same map. It's the same area that we're looking to restrict. There's no change to the actual restricted area. However, again, it's a proposal and we welcome feedback on that as well from all members of Rochdale community, whether you're a resident, business owner or a visitor to Rochdale Town Centre. We're keen to capture them views. So again, going back to it, we really do welcome your views on this proposal. If you'd like the survey that we have that's online in alternative format, you can pick one up at our reception. That's at number 1 Riverside, Smith Street. But you can complete it online via this link here, which I can provide at the end of today's presentation and meeting. But there is a lot more information about the PSPO and the support that's available as well for the PSPO there. As I mentioned before, we've got a lot of the background information for the extension and variation of the proposal, which includes the cabinet report, which is a public document as well. And that brings me to the end of my presentation. But I will hand you over to just Helen, just in case she wants to add anything to that as well. Is that okay?
Hi. The purpose of the meeting this morning is obviously in reference to what Chris has just presented, to encourage people to participate. Obviously, those are the proposals that Chris has just gone through. But what's really important from the council's perspective is that we get as broad an input from the community as we possibly can. So we're really keen for people to push this where they can and get people to participate in letting us know what they think about it. You know, we need to know that what people's views are on the proposals that we've put forward.
Thanks, Helen. Yeah, absolutely. And I'll quickly, if I may, Laura, quickly share our webpage for the council. Is that okay? Just give everybody an idea what that looks like.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. You have to excuse me, I've got so many things open. Hopefully this will show the landing page for us. Is that there? Brilliant, fantastic. So as I mentioned before, the link that's provided in the presentation, this will bring you to the council's webpage, which is a dedicated page for the public space protection order. As I mentioned before, it gives a kind of introduction to why we're doing that. The survey, as a reminder for everybody, the closing date is midnight, Sunday, the 4th of July for that. You can complete the survey by clicking this link, which I will do in a moment to show you it. Again, what there is to cover, there's a very detailed digital map here available for everybody to access as well. The restrictions, the Rochdale Town Centre Public Space Protection Order document in greater details, the support services. So there are many organisations in the borough who can help you with homelessness, drug and alcohol, and much, much more. Again, there's access to them support services, and there's helplines available as well on our website. Going back to the survey itself, that will take you on to this survey here. So we encourage everybody to take part in this survey, get as much feedback as we can from everybody if we can, please. As I mentioned before, there is more information. So before you start the survey, I thought it was important to say, here's the related documents. You've got a copy of the restricted area map for the proposal. The background information, there's a lot of detail in there in terms of why we're looking to the extension and variation of the current PSPO. And like I say, you see documents that went to cabinet, and there's a lot of information, evidence in there as well. And we've also got access to the quality impact assessment, the initial screening form. Again, I think it's important to say at this stage that we've got a very thorough and ongoing equality impact assessment being undertaken as part of this consultation. That is continuing. It will be going on to the end. On the completion of the actual consultation, we will be presenting that again to cabinet to help inform any final decisions there as well. And there's a link back to our webpage for the PSPO as well. So again, it's just more information on here, and this is what the survey looks like. So as soon as you start, it takes you on to, hang on, bear with me, straight into the questions there as well. But I'll leave it there. But if anybody's got any questions for me today, quite happily to answer them as best I can.
Do you have any questions, Nadeem?
Oh, he's on mute.
Yeah, I was trying to mute.
Thanks, Chris. If Nadine doesn't have any more questions, is there anything else? I think Chris is frozen.
Sorry, I'm here now. Sorry, yeah, dipping in and out. There's nothing further for me to add. Hopefully, I've answered everybody else's questions there. If there's anything you think of later, Nadine, for example, you can always contact us. But I encourage you to do the survey and feed that information back.
Thanks, Chris.
And encourage others as well, Nadine, please, to do it.
Please.
You can get the word out, encourage as many people, because we need as much feedback as possible. Thank you.
Oh, you're on mute, Nadine.
Yeah, if you send us the link, I'll share it out and get people to fill it in as well and stuff.
Cheers.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add, Helen?
No, I think Chris has been very comprehensive there.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. So earlier than planned. If that's everything, no more questions from Nadine. Thank you, Helen and Chris, for your presentation. Am I able to have a copy of the presentation or not? Yeah.
Certainly, we can share that out
Yeah.
and give you more information again.
Oh, that's great. I can add information into our next newsletter with the survey link as well. So
When does your newsletter go, Laura?
The next one's next Friday.
Oh yeah, that's
every 2 weeks, but we also
Yeah.
have grassroots, so we can go in with that as well, and other network meetings. So I'll make sure it's included in all of them.
Thank you.
Get it out there for you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Nadine, for coming.
No problem. Thank you. Nice to meet you. See you later.
Yeah,
guys.
nice
for your
speaking to you all.
questions.
Thank you.
See you later. Bye.
Cheers.
See
Bye-bye.
you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Helen, Chris.
Thank you.
Oh, no, that was great. It's a shame not no more people.
I know, but